Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Air Hauler 2 with me, MHerd37. So in our last flight, we flew from Lexington, Kentucky, over to our base in Charleston, West Virginia. And in this episode, we're going to be flying out of our base in Charleston over to Blacksburg, Virginia. So that's Kilo Charlie Romeo Whiskey to Kilo Bravo Charlie Bravo. As you can see right here, it's a pretty short flight. Just 90 miles, taking some soft drinks, 507 pounds of soft drinks, down to Blacksburg. Let's check out the weather real quick. All right, so here's the weather in Charleston. So the wind is currently at 230 degrees at 5 knots. Visibility is 10 miles. We got scattered clouds at 1,400 feet. Broken clouds at 4,500 feet and overcast at 11,000, which doesn't really apply to us. We're not going near that high. And the altimeter will be at 30.02. And so, with that, we're going to be taking off on runway 23. It's a heading of 235 degrees. So over at Blacksburg, there we go. Now there's not really much wind. We were set up for a different runway. I might actually change the flight plan then. Have to see in just a second. So, with no wind, visibility is at 10 miles, overcast at 900 feet, and altimeter would be set at 30.15. Now, if there's no wind, I am going to change something, because we were coming in at on runway 31, heading of 305 degrees. I'll show you that approach right here. So we come in at Cessna at, let's see, it'd be 5,400 feet, then down to MSFS at 4,900 feet, then down to Cabot at 4,200 feet, and down to the runway, which is the elevation of 2,120 feet right here. Approach course is 305 degrees. Now, if there's no weather, well, I'll show you here in Flight Simulator here in just a minute why I would want to change that. Let's go back over to Air Hauler real quick. All right, so we're back in Air Hauler. I just checked the weather again, and over at Blacksburg, it's now, once again, 220. The wind is from 220 degrees at 4 knots, so we will stick with our runway 31 landing. So let's go over here. Actually, we can just click Fly Now. As you can see, we have our cargo in the plane. We have 17 gallons of fuel. It's only a 90-mile flight, but you'll see in Air Hauler, it's a little bit longer since we have to fly out to the southeast of the airport and come back around. It's about 24 extra miles, actually. So this is going to be VFR. We'll just go down to 6,500 feet. The gate doesn't matter. I'm going to move the time back a little bit. There. And we'll go ahead and accept that. And let's go on over to Microsoft Flight Simulator. All right, so here we are over in Microsoft Flight Simulator. See, it is going to be kind of crappy weather. So we are taking off on runway 23 in Charleston, heading of 235 degrees. And we'll come over here to Blacksburg, and we are going to be landing on runway 31, heading 305 degrees. You can see Cessna, MSFS, and Cabot. I thought that would show all the waypoints. It really doesn't. See, they kind of disappear, and then you've only got 2 of them. I don't know where the third one, it doesn't really show it. The waypoints are very odd. When you have to search for them, but you have to do each one twice to get them to show up, it's odd. But anyways, let's go ahead and move on over to the plane. All right, everybody, here we are at the plane. Man, it got freaking dark here, and I thought I moved it back to around noontime or so. But man, it is dark. I should have shown you a second ago at the flight planner or whatever. The reason I wanted to possibly take the other route is it's got a cool approach. Off to your left wing would be the football stadium and all that. It's just more scenic approach and stuff to see and everything. So I kind of wanted to do that, but I guess with the wind, we'll have to fly around. All right, so let's go down here. Let's go ahead and get rid of that yoke too. We always end up having to do that. All right, our parking brake is on. Go ahead and turn on our batteries.
Aural warning, okay.
All right, get that warning off. I'm going to move back a little bit. Alright, so let's go ahead and prime the engine. Give it some throttle. Leave that in. Hit the fuel pump. You can see we do have fuel flow.
Test. Okay.
So we'll turn that off. Bring this back out. Fuel selector is on both. Fuel shutoff is pushed in. All the breakers are pushed in. Go ahead and turn on our beacon and our nav. Just a little bit of throttle here. Push that in. Got her started up. Alright, let's go ahead. Oh, went a little fast there. Turn on our avionics. Get the other side set up real quick. There we go. Turn off the inset. Go over to our transponder. Put that to on. And let me grab my notes. And while we're down here, let's go ahead and we decide on 6,500 feet. Actually, no, it's not 6,500. It's got to be 7,500 feet. I did say 6,500 feet, but in the direction we're flying, it's got to be odd number. 3002, and that's already set in here. Heading of the runway for takeoff is 235 degrees. I flew earlier today, and the weather was obviously crap if you watched that video, but man, it didn't seem like it was that dark. I swear it got dark here. By the way, I was looking around and doing some research on the internet. It says usually, I guess, for the normal takeoff in the Cessna 172, you don't even use flaps, which we've been using flaps, so we'll go ahead and try it without the flaps. One thing I do need, I want to make sure it's so dark, can't hardly see. Taxi light. Parking brake coming off. Alright, so I guess you're supposed to park behind that plane. I was last time I pulled up to the side of the plane. I think I went actually past that one. Although this is maybe a different parking spot as well. Man, I like having that little camera, like G1000. Man, it makes following that and turning so much easier. Alright, so we'll cut over right here. Yeah, see, I like this, man. This is like a getting over to the runway pretty daggone quick. I like that. I hate taxiing. I know some people I remember like taxiing. Like, I want to see the taxi. It's like, I can't believe some people like taxi that much. We should have plenty of room, I believe, if we take off right here. I don't see a need to go all the way down. We should still have enough room, even though we're not going to be using the flaps. Step right here. Landing lights and strobe lights on. See no one to the right, no one to the left. We'll go ahead really quick while I was thinking about it. Turn our range up. And get this off. Altimeter on. Alright, let's go ahead and get on out of here. And man, you know, the plane isn't full for once, and I can totally tell a huge difference just in making her go. Alright, so no flaps, like I said. Alright, here we go. Full power. Airspeed is alive. There's our 60 knots. Took me an extra second to actually pull back. I was like talking to my brain. I was saying pull up, and I Like my hand didn't want to do it. Alright, so air hauler recognizes that we're airborne? Oh, easy, easy. She threw me over to the left as well. So we got 1.3, we'll go.
500.
Alright, I'm trying not to do this, man. I hate trying to take my eyes off it. Go over to my left hand on the throttle, on the yoke. We're getting a little off to the left here. Man, it feels like we got tons of wind coming from over there. I'm struggling to keep her over to the right. .4 from the waypoint. Then it'll finally click over. I hope I didn't go too far to the left of it. Just getting knocked around. Don't even tell me. Alright, there it is. 102 miles. I was about to say, man, do not tell me because you're going to make me go back around. Like, fly around to try and hit this waypoint. There's got to be something where you can go down in the computer and say, alright, next waypoint. Banking a little too much there. Getting a little crazy with it. Yeah, we banked hard. I was about to say, okay, we'll go to heading. I did that last flight, and we went... It was horrible. Horrible decision. See, I'm trying to fly with my right hand, and it just does not work well for me. Autopilot. Heading. Climb at 400 feet a minute. I mean, I fly left-handed sometimes when I gotta, move the controls, and it does not go well for me. I'm terrible at it. We can actually climb a little bit better. Or should I say a little quicker? I don't want to get her too far. Get her slowing down too much, though. But I think 95 is a pretty good climb speed. I'm sure we'll have to decrease it here in a minute. Go ahead and start leaning out the mixture a little bit. Go down here and throw our taxi light off. Yeah, the other thing with this weather, man, is I'd like to show some scenery. Not that there's a ton of scenery in Charleston, but it is nice to see. There's the mighty Canal River. Not that mighty if you ask me, although we live on the Ohio. Used to. Alright, so yeah, it looks like we're about 98 miles out. I want to go decrease our climb rate a little bit. I don't see it's not holding it very well either. You see, that was like up at like 700 or 800. And we've got it set, it's just the weather, We've got it set at 500. See, we're at 750 coming down, I've got it set at 500. Ah, there's a little break in the clouds, huh? That's pretty nice. Much better. I think the weather at Blacksburg will be a lot better as well. Fingers crossed. Go ahead and lean this out just a little bit more. Get over here closer to our line there, and we'll switch over to nav. Whoa, that was a huge Gust of wind throwing us to the right. Alright, anyhow, everybody, we got 96 miles to go. So I'll go ahead and speed her on up, and we'll be back in just a minute.
Sim rate 1. Sim rate 2. Sim rate 1.
Alright everybody, cutting back in. We are 4.5 miles from Cessna. Now, as you can see we're way off to the side because I put it in heading mode. I want to make a better turn. I don't want that turn to be so tight. But as soon as we hit nav to follow the GPS, instead of following the line, man, it was going straight down. And I have no idea what was going on with that. So I kind of want to get it pointed towards Cessna here in just a second. And then see if we click nav, what's going to happen then. So let's go ahead and start turning to the right towards Cessna. So we need to be at 5,400 feet at Cessna, and we are. We've been having some altitude problems, some flying problems, man. It's been wild. Now see, Cessna should be off to our right, and it isn't. I don't know what's going on with that. Yeah, we're getting low on the fuel. So, and it even says to Cessna, so I have no idea what's going on with this thing. Now it says, what was that one? Let's see. MSFS. Now that goes straight right, which is true. I don't... Was the problem just going to Cessna? Let's come down here and hit nav. And at MSFS we need to be at 4,900 feet. So let's go down here real quick. That yoke isn't in the way. 4,900 feet. Right, so GPS, she just doesn't seem to, unless she's trying to come over here and then go over, I don't know. Normally it just wants to go straight to the waypoint, so I have no idea what the hell's going on, but we'll probably end up on a heading of 305. I'm going to go ahead and, it's getting hard to see. 305. That's the heading of the runway. We should be coming straight in. So if this thing doesn't turn itself over there, we'll go ahead and see. That is that's the heading that we're going to be going. The GPS. I have no idea what's been going on with this thing. And I have had the autopilot off as well. We had a about fell out of the sky. We were stalling and about fell out of the sky. Never did make it up to 7,500 feet. Made it up to about 5,800. I was like, you know what? Things are not going good. This is crappy. Let's just go back down to 5,500. So that's where we flew most of the time. And after that, we ended up stalling. I have no idea why. All of a sudden, she just started dropping speed, and dropping speed. See if she starts crossing over, and not really. We got someone, I don't know if they're above or below or what. Oh, here she goes. She is turning. So maybe it was a problem with that waypoint or something. I really don't know what the heck happened. I'd also like to get on the ground with the fuel, although we are into the yellow, but we should be fine. We started up. If you see the gauge is 10, I think we started up at 8.5 on each, so it's not been horrible. But man, it's been tough getting this plane here. Yeah, so what the hell? I don't know what. Something wrong with the Cessna there. Trying to get there. We can actually slow down a little bit. We should probably be closer to 85-ish knots. So I'll pull back on the power. Just a little bit. Go ahead and flip on the taxi light. I don't know if you're supposed to turn that on when you hit the ground, or if you go ahead and get it on. I don't know. Looks like that might be the airport there. So after MSFS, we go to Cabot at 4,200 feet, and then after that, the runway is at 2,100. So it's 2,100 feet down after Cabot. Reset the altimeter. So we had it 30.15. I'm letting it do it automatically here when I click the button. Is 30.11 because obviously weather does change. So go ahead that way. And our fuel flow is pretty low, so we won't lose too much fuel. We're at 4,900 feet, which is where we want to be. And then it'll be on down to 4,200 feet. We are in the mountains, man. There are some high mountains around here. Luckily, 5,500 feet was high enough to get over them. Not by a whole lot, though. Alright, so Cabot down to 4,200. I wish there was some way to get it to where we can click the buttons and we don't have this all moving around, because it really does make it hard clicking stuff. Like with the Easy Dock back in FSX, you know, you could have your camera shaking around, but then if you went to a certain view to look at your instruments, you could turn that off. You could have it do it automatically, which was really, really nice. I wish they had that here. It is a bit of a pain. Down to 95 knots. Speed changes constantly in this sim with this plane. I don't know how realistic that is, to be quite honest. And it seems, you know, a little unnatural to me. But what do I know? But it's like, it goes up and down like 10 knots just like crazy. So it shows the airport a fairly good distance from Cabot. I mean, that's gotta be it. There's some lights there too. Just seems like it's really far away. Cabot is 0.9 away. We need to descend a little bit quicker then. We're trying to get to 4,200. And then send another 2,100 feet after that. Alright, so that's the runway. So I'm going to go ahead and I don't know how I want to go about this. Pull back on the power. I'm going to set that to 2,000, which is actually below the runway, but actually, I tell you what, let's do this. I'm going to set that to 4,000. We're going to hand fly her in. Trying to trim it, man. I'm terrible at trimming it. It just doesn't seem like it works for me. Like it won't move, and then all of a sudden you hit it one more time, just like bam, straight up or straight down. We need to get our speed down though, which is of course going to drop our nose. But we need to get these flaps out. We also need to get down. We need to hit about 85 knots to get our flaps out. There's 85. I'm going to go one more. There we go. Now we need to work on getting down. There's speed coming up too much. Second notch of flaps. We need that drag. Alright, full flaps, I believe that's 40 degrees. Basically, I just need full flaps right now to help get that drag, man, so we can get down. So we need to get down quicker, but and as you know, we got that nose down, we're just going to speed up too quick. Alright, I gotta switch hands here. Alright, see what, get the plane all crazy for a minute. See, I'm actually increasing throttle, and we're actually losing altitude like crazy. I'm gonna remove 1 notch of flaps. So I'm really struggling to keep the nose up. Alright, now a little more comfortable. I'm sure we're too high, but man, I worry when we get so daggone low and we're coming straight in. It's so hard for me to see it. Alright, we're at full flaps again. It was really getting me, worried. I could not get our speed to come up, and we were still descending, and we were still sitting there at 65 knots. And could not gain any altitude or speed. Everything looks pretty decent. We're slightly high. Glad there's nobody coming the other way on the runway. We're off to the right. Threshold, off the power. Wow, hit the ground in a straight left. I don't know why she kicks like that when as soon as we touch down. Man, it was like straight left. We're going straight left. I would think that there would be a bigger runway. I think this is Blacksburg Executive? Blacksburg, Virginia Tech Executive, something like that. There's some guys over there waiting on us. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and stop here for a second. Get rid of this. Transponder on. Strobe. Landing lights are off. Off screen. I gotta do something. Okay. Got that. Go ahead and retract the flaps. All right. Good to go. Go straight over to these guys. I think they're waiting on us. Try not to take out that light. Well, we're getting a little quick. Oh, wait a second. That guy is turned around. Well, hell. I thought he was going to be for us. That he's turned the wrong freaking way. Really, guy? Really? Didn't want us at all. Taxi light coming off. Come down here. Transponder goes into standby. And I guess we can go ahead and cut this fuel. Nav and beacon can go off. Avionics off as well. Magnetos and the battery. Get that annoying beeping off. Alright, let's go over to Air Hauler and get ourselves paid. Alright, let's go ahead and get the cargo unloaded. Got our soft drinks. By the way, since it wasn't a full plane, I did look for some commodities, but they didn't need anything down here in Blacksburg. Too small of an airport. All right, we took off at 20:45, landed at 21:48, hour and 3 minutes. It did seem like it took a long time. Took off with 100 pounds of fuel, landed with 55, so we used a little over half. It's not surprising. Max altitude 6,216 feet. Max pitch negative 16.67. Max roll 31.96. Max speed 120 knots. Minimum G 0.46. Minimum G's exceeded 0. Max G's 1.49. Exceeded 0. Stall false. We almost stalled in the middle of the flight. Cruise out. It's odd. Overspeed false. Landing description smooth. Of course, gear down. Bituminous. I don't know. Always call it bitumen, so I don't know what they call it. Surface damage 0. Damage to the plane 0. Came down actually a little hot. A little 152 feet a minute. Landing speed 47.88. Landing pitch negative 3.7. Landing roll negative 0.81. Landing headed 3.04. Landing wind speed 3. Wind direction 250. So that was 250. And what runway did we land on? 305. All right, so we are down here in Blacksburg. It looked like they may have created something. So, see, with the quantity just too hot. Narcotics. I was gonna say I'm gonna get Sienna. I want her to fly to get down here. I will fly. They say sometimes drive down here and fly something. I can't let her fly narcotics. I'm not gonna get her arrested the first time. That pays pretty good, but it would take 2 flights to get over there, and then there's nothing around there. It's gonna come back to Charleston. So I will have to find her a flight. Because she's going to take over because I'm going back to work. So I'll have her fly every once in a while. Not constantly. That was kind of cheating to get the money up. Just quickly, we'll take a look at our finances here. Of course, the monthly overhead is now $39,235. I thought about actually renting another or leasing another plane to have her fly a lot more. But I don't know if I want to take that expense out right yet or not. So income last 2 days or last 30 days was $282,000. Outgoing $262,000. So we've made $20,000, a little over half of what we need to be making. So let's actually check this market right here. So I wonder if they're gonna have the Cessna. So you don't even have a 172. It'd be nice, man. So I'd like to have a Grand Caravan. I'd throw her in the Cessna and give me that Caravan. Give me the 172. Well, no, they do have the Cessna 172. See, lease price is $45,000, so it would more than double our monthly overhead. But man, if you could get her in there and fly a lot. I'm tempted to do it. I don't think I'm going to do it, but see now. Skyhawk, see, I don't know if she can do it, but they would not let me give her the type rating. Company info. Give it over to pilots. See, it only shows her C-172. Now, if I could find myself, aircraft management. It seems like I should be in here too. I don't know why they won't put me in there. Yeah, I don't know why they won't put me in there. Finance personal info. Will they give that to me? Let me. Right here. Aircraft type. C-172. So it doesn't have the G-1000 separate. I know in Air Hauler 2 back in the day they did. So maybe that's something that they've changed. Anyhow, I'll get her doing some flights. And, well, that's going to be it for me, everybody. I hope y'all did enjoy it. I'll catch you guys on the next flight.